Hey guys, you're watching Just Hoop Talk podcast on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and to our podcast on all streaming platforms.
Hey, yo, what's going on? We're back with another Just Hoop Talk episode. We're talking trade deadline today. You're with your host, Justin Henry, and...
What's up? This is Will.
Hey.
You know me, man. You know me.
Hey. They know the name. They know who we're talking about, man. Trade deadline. It was an exciting deadline, man. I feel like there was a lot of good things, like a lot of exciting trades, you know? At first, it felt like it was going to be kind of dry.
Slow, and then it just hit hard.
It hit, especially right there near that 12 o'clock deadline, dude.
Yeah.
I think there's some teams that got better. There's some teams that got worse. I really want to talk about it from instead of talking about it from like the team aspect, let's talk about the actual deals themselves, because there were some interesting moves, man. I know at the beginning, that D-Lo talk, the D'Angelo Russell was like, is he going to go? Is he going to stay? But that wasn't the first trade.
Right. What was the first trade?
First one that really, I think, got things kicked off was that Andre Iguodala trade.
That's true.
You know? And that was the one, I think it was done the day before the trade deadline day. Yeah. But he finally got traded, man. And, I got to give myself a pat on the back for calling that one out. But it's a really good fit. What are your thoughts on the Iguodala trade in Miami?
I love that. I love that for both teams. Memphis kind of held out and waited for a situation that made sense for them. They were getting, I'm sure they were getting kind of low ball offers. Yeah. And they held out and they made sure that they got something in return for Iggy.
Yeah.
So it really was a win for both teams. And I love Iggy in that situation. Obviously, he's bringing that championship presence, that pedigree to a team that is actually really young. Besides Jimmy Butler, that team is super young.
Yeah. They needed that.
Yeah, they definitely did, because they have no playoff experience at all, man.
He's the perfect fit, and I feel like he'll give that hustle effort. He could hit a three from the corner or a 3-point shot too, but he's a great 3-and-D guy. And I think he'll take that team to a new level, because when you have to match up against some of the wing play that's out there, when you got Middleton and Giannis and Eric Bledsoe there in Milwaukee,
sure,
even like the Sixers, they got Tobias Harris, Josh Richardson, Ben Simmons. It's like you can kind of move a little bit more freely once that happens. I really like the fit there, and I think it was a good deal overall. You know, and
because Justise Winslow is a good young player too for Memphis to kind of have around too. Memphis is looking good, man. They're putting together a nice little team.
They are, and it's young talent, but I think they'll gel pretty well together, dude. And
they're all kind of like guys with chips on their shoulders, guys who were kind of forgotten about.
You saw Dylan Brooks was like, "Hey, Iggy, get out, man! Like if you don't want to be here, you don't want to be part of the movement, get out." And I love that attitude.
I kind of like that. Obviously, like for Iggy, he has to do what's best for him. He doesn't give a shit about Dylan Brooks or the Memphis Grizzlies. But he should feel that way, and they should feel like a little slighted, and they should feel happy that they got a guy who, presumably wants to be there,
but, it'd be a weird fit, because I know that Justise Winslow, he kind of plays that like that point forward role, like where he brings the ball up a lot. He kind of is that middle forward, and they got Ja obviously now. So, and they also got a few other guards. Dylan Brooks obviously. Melton too, D'Anthony Melton. He's a nice player. So I know they have like the talent there. It's just a matter of how they all put it together. Exactly. Let's move on to some of these other deals, man. Some of these other high profile deals. Obviously, the headliner, D'Angelo Russell to the Minnesota Timberwolves, man, in a package deal for Andrew Wiggins, right, and a few draft picks. But talk about your thoughts on D'Angelo Russell getting with his buddy Karl Anthony Towns.
I mean, I like this trade. I like the trade in the sense of teams kind of getting what they presumably wanted.
Right.
I think I didn't really see D'Angelo Russell and the Warriors going super far together. Like obviously they've had him for a good amount of the season. All he's really done is made them the worst team in the NBA.
Yeah.
Like they're not looking at this dude like, oh, this is our future.
Right.
He's going to take us back to the promised side. They're not feeling that. So they wanted to get something in return for him. And Andrew Wiggins is a nice piece. If they get their guys back, and Andrew Wiggins is coming off the bench, or he's their starting three, there's less pressure on him. I like him kind of in that role.
Right.
But also like the draft picks, man. Like the Warriors are loading up,
I like this trade a lot more than other people do for the Warriors.
Yeah.
I think that the haul for Minnesota, you're getting the best player in the deal, D'Angelo Russell, but it doesn't seem like D'Angelo Russell makes teams better. Even with the Nets, you can kind of see that they already had the core pieces there to host a superstar level talent. So I know that they made the playoffs in the weak East, but D'Angelo Russell, it has a feeling that he has that feeling about him where he puts up 21, 6 boards, 8 assists, and it's like in a loss,
Yeah. Always.
I think his stardom outshines what he actually produces on the court. Like, dude obviously makes clutch plays.
Yeah,
he's a likable character. I think outside of the Nick Young stuff that was going on,
right.
But I think that D'Angelo Russell, I'm not sure that he's the piece that you need with Cat. We'll see.
Yeah, you're right. Like both of those players together have a combined record of no winning whatsoever.
Yeah.
So you're not looking at those two guys like, oh, here we go,
right?
Bringing together two superpowers.
Yeah,
but I think maybe there's something you said about two guys who want to play together.
Yes.
I know for Minnesota, they haven't really ever made Cat happy. They've never had a happy Carl.
He's gonna be there for a while.
Yeah, he's locked in for a while, so they might as well try to make him happy. But I personally, I don't see this being a great thing.
We'll see. We'll see if they go get their boy Devin Booker from the Suns. I don't know how they do it, but we'll see.
That just sounds like a whole lot of losing to me.
Oh my gosh,
a
whole bunch of second round exits.
Yeah,
man. But let's talk about it from the Warriors side though, because the Warriors obviously they're going through not a rebuild but a restructure year.
They are.
Once they get healthy, they'll have their guys back. Obviously, Steph and Clay are on the mend. I think Steph's supposed to be back here in the next couple weeks.
Yeah.
Clay, I think, is probably going to be sitting out the whole year according to reports.
Yeah.
But I really like this deal more than people think. And they're like, Harrison Barnes is the obvious comparison. Like he plays the Harrison Barnes role. But I think Wiggins can take it a step further because now when Steph and Clay are on the court, like Harrison Barnes isn't necessarily a player that you can run an offense through.
That's true.
He's more of a 3D, like at this point in his career, he's more a 3D guy, can kind of get you some buckets, good boards. But where I think that Wiggins can shine is like, look, if we got to have all 5 on the floor, money, like we got to, I don't think Wiggins is a great defender, but I think he has the potential to be one. And the team won't necessarily need him to go out and drop 20, 25 a game. But if Steph and Clay go out, now you got you got a ball handler. You got somebody that can drop 20. Whereas when Steph and Clay came off the floor currently, there was really nothing else.
Yeah.
Like they had to stay on the floor and you had, a couple other options, but there was a huge drop off. I think Wiggins can kind of play that role where it balances everything out.
Yeah, I think one thing you can say about Andrew Wiggins is he can create a shot for himself. Like there's no question about that.
Hey,
and that's kind of what they're missing,
Did you happen to get on Twitter at all yesterday during the trade deadline? So I don't know if you follow high school hoops or you've seen have you heard of the kid Julian Newman before?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
So it was like, hey, Steph and Clay are wide open, and then Andrew Wiggins will be and then the meme was him like going between his
Julian
legs.
Newman,
It was crazy, man.
Yeah, he can definitely create some shots for himself. And I think there's going to be times where they need that. That was kind of like, I'm not comparing Andrew Wiggins to KD at all whatsoever. Don't even misconstrue that.
Yeah.
But that was kind of like KD's role. Because Steph, kind of comes off screens and is coming off. And Clay for sure is not creating his own shot. So if they have another guy who can create his own shot, make some things happen, hopefully he can get to a point within this Warriors structure where he's driving and kicking and creating for other people now, because that's their culture. That's what they do, Dude,
you make a hell of a point with the KD thing. I completely forgot. It's crazy how I didn't even associate KD with the Warriors anymore. But you made a hell of a point too, because that's the role that KD did play.
Right.
More so than Harrison Barnes. This move is like, okay, maybe we don't need Andrew Wiggins to be KD, but he's a very not a similar style of player, but can fill a lesser version of what KD was.
Exactly. A baby version of KD, right?
Right. And now Steph and Clay get to elevate their level play instead of having to downgrade or kind of take a back seat. It's like, no, we can play our game and Wiggins can come in a supporting role. It's almost like I think they're damn near getting what they wanted out of the KD experience,
Yeah, I think so. Like the more you ask Steph and Clay to create their own shots, I think the more you're kind of taking away from them and what they do best. And that's like come off of screens, coming off of down screens, playing off of each other, kind of feeding off of other players.
Yeah, man.
And so if Andrew Wiggins, I mean, they had no choice, dude. Like it was obvious D. Russ wasn't gonna fit with Steph and Clay. Like it just didn't look right, you know.
Especially when you're talking these new contenders out there. They're going to have to elevate their level of play because the Lakers and the Clippers out. Man, speaking of the Clippers, dude. Woo. Clippers, bro. They made an underrated move.
Yeah.
You know, and getting that trade was for Marcus Morris and the Knicks. The Clippers and the Knicks made a trade. Marcus Morris was heading out to LA. Let's talk about that deal for a minute.
Who did they send out?
Oh my gosh, why can't I think of it right now? We need to have that pulled up next time, man. We need to have that pulled up. Oh my god, it's slipping my mind right now. And when you say it's gonna piss me off because I'm gonna know it.
Was it Harkless?
Yeah, Mo Harkless.
Okay,
that's who it is. Mo Harkless.
That's what I was wondering. I was like, okay, so
it was
Mo Harkless is a light version of Marcus Morris to me.
Yeah, and a younger version.
Yeah. But I think that's an upgrade,
and because I think he's more of a shooter. Marcus Morris is more of a shooter, and I think and that vet presence too. The one thing that team is gritty, and you know Marcus Morris he's gonna be a dog. And it's not even it's not Marcus Morris, it's Markieff. You know, you get the twins. You might as well they're interchangeable. Yeah, but Markieff, he's a shooter. I think he had one of the highest 3-point percentages on the season.
Right.
But yeah, I think it's a good fit for him. He brings that grittiness.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, they now have like probably the most players that could potentially fight you on the court on one team in the league. Like, you gotta take it easy over there, man.
Harold Martin, because Harold's a dog. I think Pat Bev's a dog. Yeah. They got some dogs out there, man. Yeah, he'll definitely scrap. So, and they had a lot of other moves that they were talking about bringing in a big that would have made them a different move. How do you think they filled out the team the right way, or do you think they needed to make a different type of move?
No, I like what they did. I think they're looking at LeBron potentially as being a problem. They want to be able to throw as many people at LeBron as possible. Yeah. I don't think they want Kawhi to be guarding LeBron the entire game. Yeah. I think they're looking at that like, we don't want Kawhi.
Even Paul George.
Yeah. So now they have 3 to even possibly 4 guys that they can throw at LeBron. Yeah. Because he's going to be a problem in the playoffs. Yeah. We all know that when it comes playoff time, LeBron's going to be a problem. So I think they're just stacking
up.
And
those guys aren't the most like sturdy either. Like Kawhi and Paul George, we've seen them already miss games and getting the load management. So I think just having a veteran presence,
having another option out there. So I think that was a LeBron move for sure. Yeah,
and I thought to be honest, I thought they would have went after a big, but it makes sense. Like they were talking Drummond, who obviously he got moved to Cleveland, but they were talking Drummond, and I thought that would have been a good move. I don't know how they would have made it work financially, but I think that I think they'll be all right. I think they could have used a big, but I mean him going to Cleveland. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Speaking of bigs.
Yeah, that was a big move, and they have a lot of bigs on the team already. Detroit basically gave away Andre Drummond damn near for free. It was Brandon Knight, 2nd round pick.
I didn't know Brandon Knight was still in the NBA. We were just talking about Brandon Knight in another episode. Like,
and then I think it was like John Henson or something like that. It was just it was crazy, man. But for an all-star, he was an all-star this year, but all-star player in Drummond. I want to hear your thoughts on it, but I'm actually surprised that it doesn't seem like as bad a move. Like just like that was a really good move for Cleveland.
Yeah, for Cleveland. Oh yeah, dude. They got a guy who they can kind of build around for the next couple years. You know.
Yeah.
Let take some pressure off their young guys, because there is a lot of pressure on those young guys. They're almost all young, and Kevin Love is out there cussing them out on a daily basis, you know. But take a little bit of pressure off them, because now they can drive and throw lobs and stuff, and they can dump it down to Drummond a little bit. It looks like a good move on the outside. They needed an upgrade.
Yeah, it looks like an upgrade. It looks like a tale of two teams though, because you have the wing players are all young. You got Sexton, Garland, Porter Jr. They're all young, and then you got the big old guys. You got Tristan Thompson, Kevin Love, Drummond. It's like you got the vets on one side. It'll be really heavy, right? And so for how long? I mean, Drummond's pretty young actually himself. He's what, 24, 25?
Relatively young,
I want to say he's pretty young. And then K-Love, I mean, he's probably his low 30s.
Yeah, I would say.
And Tristan's probably on his way out. So it's like, at the end of the day, like, I think that's a better core. Like, if those two can stay together for a minute, and I think Love's on a long contract. Yeah. Drummond is on a player option. He's probably going to, I'm assuming that dude's going to take the money. But he's on a player option, play it out. And then you got the young guys like that. It actually has the mix
it'll be interesting to see this team moving forward.
It's not like the East is super strong in that 6 to 8 range.
If you're shooting for that 8th seed or that 7th seed, it's possible. If you put together a couple, recently all-star type dudes, like, yeah, you have a chance to get somewhere in the East.
They're gonna have another high pick this year too.
Yeah.
So it's like they might be able to add, say they added LaMelo Ball to that whole equation, it could get pretty dicey out there, dude. Like they may be a scrappy little team, man. Speaking of overloaded bigs, man.
The bigs are getting tossed around, man.
They're getting tossed around. Houston. That was another deal I think happened on Wednesday out of nowhere. Capella to the Atlanta Hawks.
Yeah, that was a wild one, man.
Wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was kind of crazy. Huh? They because you think they already had John Collins in. I don't know what Houston's really doing.
I don't
with
know.
The small
I don't
ball.
know what Atlanta's plan is. It's the opposite of Houston.
Yeah,
I guess. I don't know.
Dude, like all bigs with Trae Young, like that's where and I got Huter out there, the shooters. But like, what do you think? You think that could work? All those bigs. So they even acquired a few more. We'll bring that up in a minute. But they acquired a couple other bigs too. Like, what's your thoughts on that?
I mean, I like Clint Capella being there for Trae. I think they can feed off of each other, like that James Harden type of. Because Clint is like the type of dude you can throw it anywhere near the basket, and he's gonna go get it.
Yeah.
So I like that for Trae as an option when he's driving. But they have, what's his name? Is it John Collins?
John Collins.
John Collins is kind of built in that same mold.
Same role.
Like he's not really stepping out anywhere. He's just chilling, camping.
Yeah, dunking,
rebounding, running. rim runner type dude.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what's going on in Atlanta. I think they just needed to do something, so they were like, let's
because Trae was complaining earlier in the year. He was about needing some help, and I think that Capella is a good player. We'll see how it works though, because I know Trae's a gifted passer as well, but those long shots, I guess, is going to make for we need rebounds on the court.
True.
So we'll see how it plays out with those guys. I like the move. They also shipped out. They also shipped over.
Alex Len
to the Kings, man.
Len and
they brought back
Jabari Parker.
And Jabari. It was kind of surprising for Dedmon. Like I know he was on the team last year,
let's talk about Atlanta. What is going on with Atlanta? They didn't re-sign Dedmon.
Let him go
because the Kings overpaid him.
Yeah,
they're like, all right, whatever, take him, Kings. Then they trade 2 players to get him back with that contract that they wouldn't sign him for.
It did not make sense.
How does that make sense, dude?
And
he's been playing worse than he played last year. It wasn't like they were like,
I just don't get it. And then they gave up. I mean, giving up Alex Len, I'd probably rather have Alex Len than Dedmon at this point.
Yes.
Like Dedmon looks like a skilled basketball player, not a good basketball player.
Yeah.
Like I think he has talent, but I don't think he's a great basketball player.
Yeah.
He
looks really bad here.
Like here at least, yeah. I mean, last year he looked good.
He did.
He looked good on the Hawks last year, but and then Jabari Parker, man, I don't know what happened with that guy.
Yeah, he just can't stay healthy because it looked like he was kind of having a resurgence this year, and then he's hurt again. He's hurt right now. He's not even playing. So
and we'll see. I think he'll probably back up Harrison Barnes for a little bit, play a similar role to him.
I think the Kings just wanted to get rid of Dedmon.
They had to.
They got rid of that contract more than anything, man. So now they can re-sign whoever they want to re-sign, if it's Bogey or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know what the Kings. I feel like the Kings just add players just to add players.
Yeah, that's the thing is why do we need all these guys? Just cut some people, man.
Sometimes you got to do it, man.
Yeah, just let some guys go, man. Whatever.
No, I don't know. In the you brought it up for a second, like you didn't know what Atlanta's doing. I'm trying to figure out what Houston's doing, if it's gonna work. Like they got all guys under 6'6" starting. I know they just got Covington. That was another trade from Minnesota. They got Covington in that deal, but. I'm not sure how that's gonna work.
Yeah,
it looks sustainable for the regular season, which it always does. But then when you got Daniel House guarding Anthony Davis at some point, or PJ Tucker, it just does not seem like it's gonna work, man. Do you think small ball can work?
I'm not super sold on it. I think you're right. When it comes playoff time and the game slows down a little bit, and there's a little bit more banging and shots are harder to come by. I think it's going to be a problem, dude. I think it's going to be a big problem. And it's not just being able to guard people. I think you start looking at rebounds. Teams are just going to crash the boards on them. You know what I mean?
I want to play devil's advocate a little bit, though. Because I think that the one thing that the Rockets do have is they have those, they don't have any really frail guys. They had a bunch of, stocky, if you think Eric Gordon's probably 6'3", 215. Westbrook is already big heart. He doesn't play small. He's averaging 8 boards a game. Harden is a thicker player. PJ Tucker, 6'5", but probably 250. They have the size.
They don't have
pound-wise. They don't have the height.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man, because when you're down there, sometimes you're playing those softer guys and you box them out. You're still getting boards, and each of those guys averages probably 6-7 boards a game. So I don't know, man. And they all hit threes because at the same token of rebounding, like you're not going to get a lot of rebounds and block shots out of them. They're also going to run a lot more fast breaks. It's going to be tough to stop them in one-on-one scenarios, especially with switching. Like Westbrook's going to be on Anthony Davis now, or those guys that they're going to get spread out of the corners. How the big's going to go out to the corners for those threes? Yeah, like I don't. It's almost so twisted that I thinking in my mind it might work.
It's one of those things. It's like, yeah, we can't guard you, but you can't guard us either. Yeah. So and who's gonna win in this scenario? And I think when they're hitting shots, it's gonna look great. Yeah. But like it's always been with the Rockets, they're not hitting shots. It looked like
Warriors game 0 for 27 or whatever it was, dude. So
yeah, it's just like it's gonna limit their opportunities to get really good shots.
Yeah. You know? Yeah,
like everything's gonna be probably contested layups or threes. You know? So we'll see.
We'll see, man. At least it was an exciting deadline. Did we miss any big deals that I was trying to think of? I think we covered most of the big deals, right?
Mostly. Robert Covington, I think, is a good fit in Houston.
He definitely fits their scheme, and he's bigger player too. Yeah. Rebounder, so I don't know. We'll see how this all plays out. The trade deadline's always. This is a better trade deadline we've seen in a while. They missed on. One thing I wanted to bring up though before we get off is the element of being traded too, because you saw Malik Beasley in Denver got traded to Minnesota. Yeah, in that deal, right? Or was it Memphis? Minnesota, or Memphis. One of the two. I always get them mixed up for whatever reason. It was Minnesota. He went to Minnesota, and one of the things that sticks out is, these players go through the grind of a regular season. You're attached to a team. You're playing for a team. And then you get traded in the middle of a game.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Or you just get traded. And you saw even Andre Drummond kind of took it to heart, too.
Oh, yeah, he definitely
He was saying, it's a business. I get it's a business. I don't care about any players or the team. Like, it's tough for these players. What are your thoughts on, just getting uprooted in the middle of the season? Because everybody says, these guys are NBA players. They should be used to it or have it expected coming. But nobody wants to leave a situation, make their family leave a situation. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's kind of like, I would compare it to being fired almost, like being fired from your job. Like how, that has to be hard, man. And like, obviously they're landing in another place, so they have another job guaranteed, but still you're going to feel some type of way when your employer tells you, hey, thanks, but no thanks, Yeah. Or it's like, like we like you, but we think this guy's better, like that's hard to take. And then you got a bunch of your friends that you've been, Malik Beasley's probably been there for 4 years or something like that. Those are his friends, his family. Yeah. It's not just his teammates. It's everybody at the arena. It's all, all of his friends that he's made in
staff
Denver.
Workers, equipment guys. Yeah, it goes deep sometimes with those guys. You really make friends while you're out there. And
it happens so fast, too, for NBA players. Like, they're on a plane almost immediately, and then they got to go do the photo shoot and the conference with the new team. Almost signing docs. Almost the same day. So it's crazy, man. I can't even imagine that.
It's tough because you're, especially if you're a player like him, because he seemed like the type Beasley did. He seemed like the type that was invested in the team. You put your effort for it. You go 110%. Probably, I think he was drafted by him too. So it's like you go and you put your energy out there, and then just to get moved instantly, I don't know, man. Anyway, that wraps it up for our trade deadline talks. Let us know what you think. What was the best trade that happened? Be sure to subscribe to Just Hoop Talk on all social media platforms. Subscribe on YouTube. It's up live. We're going to have this video and more coming your way. I'm also thinking, though, we need to do like a subscriber giveaway.
Yeah, we should.
If somebody the next, maybe not today, but we're going to announce it on our social media feed. We'll do the next 10 subscribers. Somebody out there will get a giveaway prize. We're not sure what it is yet, but I think it'd be something to do, man.
I'm down with that. Let's do it.
All right, man. Just Hoop Talk. We're out.
For more NBA, college, and hoops coverage, be sure to subscribe to Just Hoop Talk podcast on YouTube and all streaming platforms.